Hey guys, it's Ren from Crypto Minds Global. This is my first YouTube video. Just kind of want to update you guys with where we are in the crypto market and maybe where we're headed. So let's see. Let's start off with Ethereum. So from Ethereum's top, from 1400, we have dropped 93%. With that in perspective, we're currently sitting at 81% drop. To me, we are nowhere near where we could go. And in that case, shorting these rallies could potentially be very drastic for your trading. Now, I'm not saying they aren't setting up potential short opportunities, but what I like to just put in perspective is that we are still 80% down from the top. And we have currently accumulated for, let's see, I would say this is the start of accumulation right here. We have accumulated for 300 days, which is approximately almost 1 year. I just wanted to put that in perspective. Potentially, maybe I can make this a little bit more less drastic. Sorry, guys. So I would just like to put into perspective, right, that in September and October, November is where we broke down for Bitcoin. And so this was our trading range right in here, this area, which now we are currently trading back into that trading range. It's going to get a little messy, okay? So this is just what I'm seeing. So we've taken out this high. So we've taken out both these highs here. And when we're going on the way up, we're going to continue to potentially take out these highs. I'm not trying to get too overly bullish here, but I am just seeing a correlation in bullish momentum. We also see here that we're currently on the 3-day pushing above the previous 3-day candle, which is a very bullish sign in my opinion. Now, it could create a supply zone here, right? But we are turning these resistances into supports as we move up, because from the previous high to the previous low, right? Make that black. So about right there. See on the 3-day. No. So we're currently trading above the equilibrium of this range, previous range, right? So to me, the likely downside could be we would hold this support, because in the red right here is a deviation of this support range from 2017 levels, right? So those are some massive levels that we just pushed straight through, and now we're sitting on top of them. And so what could potentially happen is we could potentially keep moving higher this next week, and then potentially take out this high, and potentially these are way probably not irrelevant, but these are highs that could potentially get taken out too, but that haven't. But I would be looking shooting for this high right here into this range here, where you got this massive move down from this 2-week order block here, and it also came right back into that zone. So you're looking at some massive resistance at the 812 level for Ethereum. Now, in perspective, you also did start capitulating here at 450, which is a key level as well. But we're most likely going to take out that previous swing high. Let's say this trading range right here, we could potentially target $600, in my opinion, as we go on this parabolic run. So just to put in perspective where we could go in the upcoming weeks, I'm expecting us to continue this bullish momentum on the higher time frames as we make a rounding bottom, mostly known in traditional markets as also a bottoming formation. And so I would look to potentially on the 2-week chart find resistance here at the 57 RSI level, right? And potentially get up here into the 67 to $80 bullish RSI level on the 2-week chart, which will take months and months to play out and into 2020, maybe 2021, 2022, when we're going to top out of the bull market, right? Long time coming. But in the meantime, we are seeing bullishness across all boards. And so right now we're consolidating on the 4-hour chart and potentially breaking out of this symmetrical triangle and retesting it right here. Right. But so what I want to tell you guys is right here, this was a huge resistance zone and we just blew straight past it, right? Through all resistance. And now we're literally sitting on top of it on that big previous swing high right there. And we're created a basically a 2-day order block there. And so to me, we could potentially continue to move up. Or you come down and retest 190 to 200 to 215, the equilibrium of this trading range, which either way, I'm not selling my holdings. So yeah, it could potentially be a 20% to 15% drop. Nothing that we've never experienced in crypto, but as we run, we also are going to have major pullbacks. But I'm truly looking at this potentially this $600 and $300 level as we might take out these previous swing highs here. At the $388 level. So that's Ethereum for now. I hope that kind of makes sense. So, but we have been accumulating for 252 days. The accumulation started right here. As you can see, price on the weekly started bottoming out here, and then here, and then here was the higher high and higher low. And so we started coming on up. And then let's see on the, yeah, you can even see it, the accumulation in this range was starting. And then now we're starting to take off into bullish territory and bullish momentum. Monthly, same thing. You're starting to see that rounding formation, just upper bullish momentum. So previous support, major support was right in this area, around the $388 range for Ethereum. Previous resistance was around 824 to around where we started taking off 640, 680. So I would really consider this monthly order block here at maybe 530, the equilibrium, to potentially come up and hit that. But I'm just looking at these levels here. So take off the RSI real quick. Also, I'm looking at this equilibrium of this order block here, which is around $238. But just to give y'all a perspective on the monthly, really no really resistance besides this order block here. And this acted as the order block that pushed this up. So really, I would be looking at this area of resistance in $388 to $400 range, just my opinion. And as we see, we could potentially come down if we break. I would say we have to hold here above 240 for Ethereum. As we did a deviation of the range, came back, tested support, now are starting to kind of break up. If we did take out this 222 low, I'd see 187 range. But like I said, we're super bullish right now, ladies and gentlemen, and we are currently pushing past this. I mean, this resistance has acted as support in a way. You see right here, boom. So continue higher potentially. Bitcoin. So we consolidated for a while at this support. All right, so previous support has acted as no resistance. No, basically, we've touched many times in the 6K area. To me, now this is going to act as support. This is a deviation, creating a demand zone for the market makers to gain liquidity, to push this thing higher. We did bounce right in this area of our previous support in 2017 levels. I would say I was trading this, and this was right here, a deviation as well of the range. And as you see, we retest it right here, the true support, which is at 34.80. Now, since we've broken out, we never did truly back test this traditional consolidation breakout zone like many people thought. But since we did have a deviation of the trading range, true support, which is in this area, I believe, right? In this area, we just blew right through it, right? We never did test this. And here was the daily little bearish resistance that really didn't do much besides just slow us down. And so we saw price kind of bouncing around to get through that. Easily got through that, right? So I would suggest that if we do make a pullback, we would potentially pull back into this 20% drop into the 6K level. However, we did wick right under here on Coinbase. So maybe a lot of the investors did buy the pullback, right? So what I want to see here is a pullback. And I'm about to show you guys a chart, but we could potentially be distributing here for Bitcoin in this level. We could be distributing into a supply. I'm sorry. Yeah, we could be getting into a supply zone here, distributing the coins to many people hopping in on the train. However, we did hold this support. So really, I'm watching on the lower time frames to hold here and not to break down. If we lose the $7,700 and lose 7,200, it's looking like we're going back down to the 6K to potentially a wick down to the $5,500 area. However, on the weekly, we're coming into major resistance on the RSI. However, we can continue to go higher. The 2 weeks still has room to go up. The monthly still has room to go up. Potentially, we could be looking at this drop down point at 10K on the monthly chart. So as we're coming into the monthly chart, these things get dicey. You got, we just blew straight through this area here. Could be coming into supply zone here. Most of this probably is getting tight into resistance. Now, we traded between these two levels for a while now. Even, I would say, as you see here, that was a drop-off point. So we traded the body, most of the body candles within this area, body, 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 body. So then once we lost the EQ of, well, now you can call it the EQ, but basically from the trading of this level, I would say 6,300 could potentially be a really great buyback zone. As we see here, we're coming into resistance at the $8,300 level. $8K level. You must say if we come past this, I would suggest we potentially start ranging within the 10K to 8K level and then potentially get a major pullback to potentially 7 to 6K. So, and as I showed you, the deviation happened here. Major support now is around the 6K level. See where our Bollinger Bands are at. I don't really use Bollinger Bands, but they are good. So on the 3-day, on the daily, we were pinching. We are hugging the upper Bollinger Band now, which is acting as support. If we break through the upper Bollinger Band, I would expect this to come down back to the mean line. Hopefully that mean line will catch up, maybe taking us to 57 to 6K area on the 2-day, starting to curl up, catching up a little bit. We're still hugging this upper Bollinger Band that will act as support, especially when we're going into a parabolic stage. This on the 3 days acting as resistance, and again starting to curl up at the $5,100 range. I see us kind of ranging up here or taking up a little bit, and then giving us room to catch up on the Bollinger Band. On the weekly, it's around bounced right off the $6,800 level. So on the weekly, we still have support on the middle Bollinger Band. Top resistance is at 12K. So good things coming. Lots of stuff happening in crypto. I think we've bottomed ever since we passed 4,200. I suggested that the bottom was in and notified our free group here in Crypto Minds. It gets tricky here at resistance because you don't want to become overly too bullish here at resistance. And so I'm expecting potentially to drop down and this kind of be a ranging opportunity for the alts to kind of start taking off. Yeah, so AirSwap, DNT, GBT coming into a massive support level here. So this is 2017 levels, and so we're likely to see price react and get to 10K sats. And so I'm expecting to bounce. I'm trying to track the accumulation level. RSI currently up. You see, as the trend capitulates, now the trend's starting to slowly lose momentum and starting a new channel, which would be more of a sideways action accumulation before running up. You also see a lot of the dojis and hammers forming on the 3-day, which indicates buyers are stepping in, accumulating before we hit 6,100 sats. So I'm placing a GVT buy here at 39.36, potentially setting that buy in place and holding to 6 to 10K sats for the long-term swing of things. Let's see. Total market cap continues to trade above this equilibrium of this range here. And let's see, which is good news. So we could potentially keep going higher. As you see, this was a deviation as well. Now, what I wanted to do was so we could potentially see 500 to 400 levels. I do think that we reclaim this $300 level as support, so we would need to trade above it, maybe to 400, come back down and touch 300. This is a great opportunity to get Ethereum sub 300, potentially maybe a pullback to 215 to, I wouldn't even say 118, but potentially we could come back to this level of a breakout zone. I would suggest maybe the 218 level. So we did see some accumulation happening here, break up, now forming a flag-like thing, basically a pennant for bullish momentum, I think. And so as you see, we bouncing between these levels, acting as support now. Now, if we start trading above the $254 area, we should see a takeoff. Now, that all depends on Bitcoin. But like I said, we do have some things to cover for Bitcoin, potentially a pullback for Ethereum to maybe the 217 level. But I would expect us maybe to push through the Bitcoin level and start taking off as altcoins, the profits from altcoins start moving back into Bitcoin. So now Ethereum to Bitcoin, target is around 8K. First target 5,700, 45,000, 57,000, 70,000 sats. So that's my longer term play for Ethereum. I think Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin in the coming months. We are also starting to reclaim from top to bottom. Let's see here. So right now, this is acting as resistance for us. We really need to reclaim this level to start pushing up really hard for the Ethereum BTC pair. As a 50% retracement is a very key level in acting as support or resistance. I would have your alert set above 35,000. If we start trading above it, you might start seeing something like this, start trading, and then taking off. Right now, alts are taking off as expected. Let's see, Pundi X compared to Ethereum, I think it's going to start outperforming Ethereum. We saw it come back into a demand zone, and we should start seeing maybe a rally in Pundi X. So another note that I want to make is that oftentimes when you start breaking out of the parallel channel, right, on the weekly, so we potentially might come back and retest the top channel at 230 or 212, like I mentioned earlier. So I would like to see it come back, retest, start going parabolic. Yeah, so we did most definitely break out, touch, broke out this median line with force, broke out the upper median line. Now acting as support, we were bouncing on top of it. Now acting as support, so I would like to see us bounce, and start taking off as Bitcoin and the alts start accumulating and taking off a little bit more. So anyway, upper targets potentially for Ethereum. If we went over this, I don't know where my chart went. There it is. 400, 500, and potentially 800. Eventually testing all-time high, but bull run is not confirmed yet. In my opinion, we're about to get confirmation as we start taking off into these upper levels. Also, a thing to note, so Willy Woo, he's an analyst. He's an on-chain analyst who tracks investor flow via blockchain. He came up with this chart. I'd like to share it with you guys. So basically, the Bitcoin network operates off the blockchain, and every blockchain transaction can be monitored and basically tracked. And so he's created this chart that basically tracks the momentum of bull markets for Bitcoin. And in the previous past, when let's just call this the on-chain metric system, right? So the on-chain metric system is actually an indicator that they have created based on investor flow and if they're holding or selling. So as you see here, we have investor flow holding, buying. And as you see right here, in mid-2011, it starts going down. And they start losing the momentum. They start selling their holdings. Well, you start seeing it take off as prices continue to go down, which creates more of a bull market. Again, you're still holding and creating higher highs. It goes into a massive bull market. And so we see here again, still in the bull market. And yet in 2014, we start breaking down, and it's signaling that the investors are letting go of their funds. Now, what's interesting is in 2014, the on-chain data suggested that we started accumulating here at the $500 area. And so it accumulated, and then it started taking off. Really, the accumulation started right here, when it started right here at the $500 level. And as price continues to go up in the on-chain data, price goes down, still accumulating. And as we accumulate for every year, the on-chain data continues to go up. and so creating a massive bull market for the investors on the on-chain data, showing that price continues to go up, which creates this massive bull market from 2016 to 2018, which led to the 20K parabolic run, suggesting that at 20K, the investor flow stopped and they were letting go of their holdings and weren't accumulating no more. As you see, we're testing the 6K area in this range, and yet there's sideways action going on, bottoming formation. And as we break down from the 6K level here, 6,000, which is our deviation of our range, investor flow picks up. So around the 6K level, people were investing again. And as you see, as we're capitulating, investor flow continues to go up. And so you see the on-chain reaction of people holding, and then the 200 MA, we break above the 200 MA. So what he's suggesting to confirm a 100% bull market is that we go up and then pull back and the momentum continues higher. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Feel free to check them out at woobullcharts.com. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, please subscribe if you want some more news and more videos on blockchain. Also, we have a free Telegram channel you can join, but hopefully that helped. Thanks, guys.